Problem 2 on beams. See, a uniform cross-sectional beam is fixed at one end, supported by a roller at the other end. A concentrated 20 kN is applied at the mid-length of the beam as shown in the figure. Determine the deflection under load. Take E is equal to 210 GPa, I is equal to 2500 mm to the power of 4. See, this is the figure given. See, it is a uniform cross-sectional beam which is fixed at one end and the other end is placed on the roller. And a 20 kN concentrated load is acting at the center of the beam, means at a distance of 0.5 meter from the fixed end. Material properties are given: Young's modulus 210 GPa and moment of inertia 2500 mm to the power of 4. Here you have to find out the deflection of the beam. Solution. The first step is finite element model. FE model. See, here we have to use two 1D beam element because there is a load at the center of the beam. From here to here you have to use one element, and from here to here one more element. Totally you have to use two 1D beam element for this FE model. See here, this is one element, this is one more element. Node numbering 1, 2, 3. Next, the nodal displacement. At node 1, the transverse displacement is Q1 and the rotation or the slope is Q2. Similarly, at node number 2, Q3, Q4, and at node number 3 it is Q5 and Q6. These are the nodal displacements. Next, we will consider the nodal forces and nodal moments. See, at node number 1, the nodal force is F1 and the moment, applied moment is M1. Similarly, at node number 2, the applied load is F2 and applied moment is M2. And at node number 3, the applied force is F3 and applied moment is M3. Here the length of the element will be 0.5 meter, 0.5 meter. So this is the finite element model of the given problem. Next is elemental stiffness matrix. Elemental stiffness matrix. We know the formula. K is EI by L cube 12 6L minus 12 6L 6L minus 12 6L 4L square minus 6L 2L square minus 6L 2L square 12 minus 6L minus 6L 4L square. This is the formula for elemental stiffness matrix for 1D beam element. Next, for element 1, for element 1, K1 is, here the length of the beam is in meter, that's why I will take Young's modulus in Newton per meter square and also the moment of inertia in meter to the power of 4. So E is 210 gigapascal, means 210 into 10 power 9 into I, it is 2500 mm to the power of 4. If you convert it into meter to the power of 4, it will be 10 power minus 12 divided by length of the element is 0.5 meter, 0.5 to the power of 3 into 12, 6L, 6 into 0.5, it is 3, minus 12, 6L, again it is 3. Due to symmetry, I can write the first column, 3 minus 12, 3. Next 4L square, it is 1, minus 6L, it is minus 3. 2L square is 0.5. Now due to symmetry, I can write the second column, minus 3, 0.5. Next here it is 12, minus 6L means minus 3, here minus 3, 4L square is 1. Now if you simplify this, you will get K1 will be equal to 4.2 into 10 power 3, 12, 3 minus 12, 3, 3 minus 12, 3, 1 minus 3, 0.5 minus 3, 0.5, it is plus 12, minus 3, minus 3, 1. This is the elemental stiffness matrix for first element. Next you have to give the numbering. See here, element number 1 connects node number 1 to node number 2. At node number 1, the DOF is Q1, Q2. At node number 2, the degrees of freedom is Q3 and Q4. So that's why the numbering will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will give the number 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is elemental stiffness matrix for second element. For element 2, see here, for both element 1 and 2, the material property is same and also the lengths are same. That's why the elemental stiffness matrix of second element will be same as first element. So therefore I can directly write K2 is equal to 4.2 into 10 power 3 into 12, 3 minus 12, 3, 3 minus 12, 3, 1 minus 3, 0.5 minus 3, 0.5, 12 minus 3, 1. This is elemental stiffness matrix for second element. Next, numbering. See the FE model. This element number 2 connects node number 2 and 3. At node number 2, the DOF is Q3, Q4, and at node number 3, the degrees of freedom is Q5, Q6. Therefore, you have to give the numbering 3, 4, 5, 6. So the numbering will be 3, 4, 5, 6. Here also 3, 4, 5, 6. Next is global stiffness matrix. Global stiffness matrix. K is equal to K1 plus K2. K is 4.2 into 10 power 3 outside. Now see the order of the global stiffness matrix. See here, for this finite element modeling, the total number of degrees of freedom is 6. 2 per each node. There are 3 nodes. So totally there are 6 degrees of freedom. Therefore the order of the global stiffness matrix will be equal to the degrees of freedom. Means the order will be 6 cross 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See here, now I need the element corresponding to 1 and 1. For that you have to see the elemental stiffness matrix of element 1 and 2. If you see the elemental stiffness matrix of element 1, the element corresponding to 1 and 1 is 12. In K2, we don't have any element corresponding to 1 and 1. Therefore, the element corresponding to 1 and 1 is 12. Next, we need element corresponding to 2 and 1. See the elemental stiffness matrix of first element. Here element corresponding to 2 and 1 is 3. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 2 and 1. Therefore element corresponding to 2 and 1 is 3. Next we need element corresponding to 3 and 1. See K1, here element corresponding to 3 and 1 is minus 12. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 3 and 1. Therefore element corresponding to 3 and 1 is minus 12. Next we need element corresponding to 4 and 1. See K1, here element corresponding to 4 and 1 is 3. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 4 and 1. Therefore element corresponding to 4 and 1 is 3. Next we need element corresponding to 5 and 1. See in K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 1. Similarly in K2 also we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 1. Therefore element corresponding to 5 and 1 is 0. Next element corresponding to 6 and 1. See K1, here we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 1. Also in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 1. Therefore element corresponding to 6 and 1 is 0. Now due to symmetry I can write the first column 3 minus 12 3 0 0. Next we need element corresponding to 2 and 2. See K1, here element corresponding to 2 and 2 is 1. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 2 and 2. Therefore element corresponding to 2 and 2 is 1. Next element corresponding to 3 and 2. See K1, here element corresponding to 3 and 2 is minus 3. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 3 and 2. Therefore element corresponding to 3 and 2 is minus 3. Next we need element corresponding to 4 and 2. See K1, here element corresponding to 4 and 2 is 0.5. But in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 4 and 2. Therefore element corresponding to 4 and 2 is 0.5. Next we need element corresponding to 5 and 2. See K1, here we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 2. Similarly in K2 also we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 2. Therefore element corresponding to 5 and 2 is 0. Next element corresponding to 6 and 2. See in K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 2. Also in K2 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 2. Therefore element corresponding to 6 and 2 is 0. Now due to symmetry I can write the second column minus 3 0.5 0 0. Next we need element corresponding to 3 and 3. See K1, here element corresponding to 3 and 3 is 12. Also in K2 we have element corresponding to 3 and 3, it is 12. Therefore here element corresponding to 3 and 3, it becomes 12 plus 12, it is 24. Next element corresponding to 4 and 3. See K1, here element corresponding to 4 and 3 is minus 3. Also in K2 the element corresponding to 4 and 3 is 3. So minus 3 plus 3, it becomes 0. So element corresponding to 4 and 3 is 0. Next we need element corresponding to 5 and 3. See in K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 3. But in K2 we have element corresponding to 5 and 3. It is minus 12. So here element corresponding to 5 and 3 is minus 12. Next we need element corresponding to 6 and 3. In K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 3. In K2 we have element corresponding to 6 and 3, it is 3. Therefore element corresponding to 6 and 3 is 3. So due to symmetry I can write the third column. It is 0, minus 12, 3. Next element corresponding to 4 and 4. See K1, here element corresponding to 4 and 4 is 1. Again in K2 the element corresponding to 4 and 4 is 1. Therefore here element corresponding to 4 and 4 becomes 1 plus 1, it is 2. Next we need element corresponding to 5 and 4. See K1, here we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 4. But in K2 we have element corresponding to 5 and 4, it is minus 3. Therefore element corresponding to 5 and 4 is minus 3. Next we need element corresponding to 6 and 4. See in K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 4. In K2 we have element corresponding to 6 and 4, it is 0.5. Therefore element corresponding to 6 and 4 becomes 0.5. So due to symmetry I can write the fourth column, it is minus 3.5. Next we need element corresponding to 5 and 5. See in K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 5 and 5. But in K2 we have element corresponding to 5 and 5, that is 12. Therefore here element corresponding to 5 and 5 becomes 12. Next element corresponding to 6 and 5. If you see elemental stiffness matrix of first element, here we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 5. But in K2 we have element corresponding to 6 and 5, that is minus 3. Therefore here element corresponding to 6 and 5 is minus 3. So due to symmetry I can write the fifth column here minus 3. Next we need element corresponding to 6 and 6. In K1 we don't have any element corresponding to 6 and 6. In K2 we have element corresponding to 6 and 6, that is 1. Therefore here element corresponding to 6 and 6 is 1. So this is the global stiffness matrix. Next is global displacement vector. Global displacement vector, that is Q is at node 1 the displacement is Q1, Q2, at node number 2 it is Q3, Q4, at node number 3 it is Q5, Q6 transpose. This is the global nodal displacement vector. Next is global force vector or global load vector. Global load vector, that is F is at node 1 the applied force is F1 and applied moment is M1. Similarly at node number 2 the applied force is F2 and applied moment is M2. And at node number 3 the applied force is F3 and applied moment is M3 transpose. Or F is, see node number 1 is fixed, means at node number 1 no force is acting and also no moment is acting. Therefore F1 and M1 becomes 0 at node number 1. So F1 0, M1 0. Next we need F2 M2, that is nodal force and nodal moment applied at node number 2. See the figure. See here we have a load of 20 kilonewton, means at node number 2 F2 is 20 kilonewton, but it is acting downward, that's why you have to take minus 20 kilonewton. But here we don't have any applied moment, means M2 will be equal to 0. Here F2 is minus 20 kilonewton and M2 is 0 at node number 2. F2 is minus 20 kilonewton, so 10 power 3, M2 is 0. Next we need F3 and M3, that is applied force and applied moment at node number 3. See the figure. At node number 3 we don't have any force and also no moment is acting at node number 3. Therefore at node 3 F3 and M3 is 0. So F3 0, M3 is also 0. Transpose. This is the global load vector. Next is equilibrium condition. Equilibrium condition, that is K into Q is equal to F. K is 4.2 into 10 power 3 12 3 minus 12 3 0 0 3 minus 12 3 0 0 1 minus 3 0.5 0 0 minus 3 0.5 0 0 24 0 minus 12 3 0 minus 12 3 2 minus 3.5 here minus 3.5 12 minus 3 1 Q is Q1 Q2 Q3 Q4 Q5 Q6 is equal to 0 0 minus 20 into 10 power 3 0 0 0. This is the equilibrium condition. Next is applying the boundary condition. Applying the boundary condition. See the figure. Node number 1 is fixed, means the corresponding displacements Q1, Q2 will be equal to 0. Since node 1 is fixed, Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to 0. See the figure. This end of the beam is on roller support. Means there is no moment in y direction. That is the corresponding displacement Q5 will be equal to 0. Since node number 3 is on roller support, there will not be any displacement in y direction. Means Q5 will be equal to 0. Node 3 is on roller support. Therefore, Q5 will be is equal to 0. Now using elimination approach, using elimination method, we can eliminate corresponding rows and columns. See, Q1 is 0, therefore I can eliminate first row, first column. So I will eliminate first row, first column. Similarly, Q2 is 0, means I can eliminate second row, second column. So I will eliminate second row, second column. Similarly, Q5 is 0, means I can eliminate fifth row, fifth column. I will eliminate fifth row, fifth column. Now the equilibrium equation reduces to, see, 4.2 into 10 power 3 24 0 3 0 3 2 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0.51 into Q3, Q4, Q6 is equal to minus 20 into 10 power 3 0 0. Now multiply this. If you multiply this, you will get 24 Q3 plus 3 into Q6 is equal to minus 4.762. Next 2 into Q4 plus 0.5 into Q6 is equal to 0. 3 into Q3 plus 0.5 into Q4 plus Q6 is equal to 0. If you solve these three equations, on solving above equation, we get Q3 is equal to minus 0.347 meter. And Q4 is minus 0.298 radian. Q3 is the transverse displacement at node number 2 and Q4 is the slope at node number 2. Next, Q6 is 1.1905 radian. This is slope at node number 3. Thank you.